Hello, business leaders. This is Delroy Young, and I'm with the B5 community. I'm here just to talk to you. This is not a script. I don't have anything written down that I'm going to recite. I'm just talking with you as a business owner myself who owned a couple of businesses. So I'm talking with you. I'm giving you the what they would call the download, the reality as to what is going on so that your eyes can be opened up as to why we had to create the B5 community, why it is that we're doing this thing in particular. It is not something that we wanted to do because it was a lot of work doing this, but it's something that we have to do. And we're doing this not just for ourselves as business leaders, but also for our children that are coming and our grandchildren. Me, I'm a grandfather myself. I have a few grandchildren now, and I'm thinking about their future. What is going to happen? Where is this world going in terms of commerce? So let's go over a few things so that you can understand. I am a computer programmer. That is my background. That was where I came from. That is the background that I came from. That was where I was working behind the dark console, or the black console as we call it. And we saw all the things. Some of the things, if we explain them to you, you're not even going to understand what's going on. But we're going to explain to you the things that you can understand. When you talk about companies like the social media companies and the social network companies like Google, like Facebook, like even YouTube, which is now owned by Google, I can tell you like a lot of things that may blow your mind when it comes to those companies, but I'm not gonna go there right now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about things that you can identify with. Because with me as a computer programmer, you would not be able to understand some of the terms in which I speak if I was to talk about some of the things, that they are doing there. So don't believe anything that you hear them saying about how they're trying to promote people business and how they're trying to promote small businesses, from the government to the so-called information system to the bank especially, because none of that is true. What they're trying to do, they're trying to eliminate small businesses. And let me prove something to you in a matter of speaking. It is now May 8th, 2020. And as you know, we are in the mid of a pandemic. They said the country was going to be open up back, but we're not seeing that happening. It's not improved from cities to cities, barely improving. And the reason for that is that I'm not even going to go into why that is, because the reason why the country is not obvious opening up back as fast as we think is in the midst of a pandemic. And it's because of the pandemic, because people are dying. America is slated to lose over 100,000 people by the end of this month. So you think about that. Now, if you want to think that all of this that you see going on, if you want to think that it's an accident, this is an accidental thing, then you probably need to do a reality check and start doing like a lot of research. But then where are you going to research? Because the very information system that is supposed to give you the information, they're going to lie to you. Because these companies, Google and YouTube and Facebook, they're not there to promote the truth. They are part of the agenda that is going on. What I want to talk about here, is not really about that particular subject. But I want you to pay attention to what happened with the stimulus, the $2.2 billion stimulus that they say they had approved. Of course, what I think of as the aggregate fund is the $1,200 or the 12,000 to $1,700, depending on whether you have children or not. That little change that they put in the hand of the smaller people, the employees. And I'm going to talk about this particular thing that is targeted towards the small business, getting rid of the small business. Do you notice that all of the big companies, the corporate giants and the corporate companies, do you notice that they get their funds differently from how small businesses got their funds? They got their funds, they got their check mailed to them, or their money wired into their merchant account. But yet the small businesses, you have to go through the bank to get your money. I can't even testify of how many small businesses are not getting any money. Now, remember that the bank, if you've been watching my videos, the bank is one of the main key role figure in annihilating or in getting rid of the small businesses. They hadn't been lending money to small business owners. That's been the case for more than 10 years. So they hadn't been lending money to small business. And if you're not lending money to small business, then who are you lending money to? They are lending money to the corporate businesses, the corporate giant. Because you're going to open a restaurant down the street where people have to eat, and if you know what you're doing as a restaurant owner to make it this far, to have the confidence to go in and to apply for a loan, and if you're not getting it, then who is going to get it? So the bank that they give this money to, these billions of dollars, what they say it is $500 billion, for them to provide for the small business owners out of, most people are not going to get that. So the corporate businesses, they're getting funds, but the small businesses are getting sponged. So how do you see that? How do you feel about these things? Does that make it, are you coming any closer to what we are saying, to what we have been saying, that this system right now, they're trying to get rid of small business? The reason why they're trying to get rid of small business is because you cannot drive the wedge between the rich and the poor. You cannot have the very rich and everybody else poor, as is the agenda right now of the New World Order. You cannot have that system without annihilating the small business. Because as long as the small business is there, you cannot get rid of the middle class. As long as you can go and open up a business, whether you be a plumber or a carpenter or even the guy who washed the car as a small business owner, or anybody that is considered, you know what small businesses are. As long as you can do that inside of your community with any freedom at all, the smaller people, the middle class cannot disappear, because that is how the middle class exists, because of small businesses. So what they're going to do is they're going to make it harder for small businesses to survive. Companies like the same tech companies that I just mentioned, like Google, Amazon, and you know who they are. Uber is another one of them. So all those tech giant companies, they are going to start providing services that the small businesses would have otherwise provided. What they're going to do with these services, they are going to start off with low prices and make it cheaper for the consumer in the beginning. Then when they eliminate all the small businesses, when they make it so hard for the small businesses to survive, and the whole system is wiped out of small businesses, then you're going to jack up their prices, and you're going to squeeze the throats of the people. So you're going to have now no more millionaires, but billionaires, and the rest of people are going to be in poverty. So now the $50,000 that a man have in his bank account, and $50,000 was a lot of money at one time. It's probably still a lot of money right now. But as time goes on, this more money is going to value less. Take a look at what is going on around you, and try to make sense out of what I'm saying. Look at McDonald's, for instance. Look at Burger King. Look at the prices of things over the past 10 years, over the past 15 years, and see how they have escalated. They have not only increased in proportion, but they have doubled up in proportion. That means as we go along right now, we see what they did within the 2008 crisis, within the housing market, where they have now make it even harder for people to afford homes and to afford rent. So what you're going to have in this system, as the new world order takes place, you're going to have more and more homeless people. The man who does a typical job right now, if you're in Florida, where the minimum wage is $8.05, and if this person is making $10 an hour, that's $400 a week before taxes, and that is $1,600 a month. This person cannot afford a one-bedroom house, which is normally right now, from what I know, is averaging like $1,500 a month. So my whole point in saying all this is that as the prices of things go up, your money is going to value less. And you have to understand this, folks. Now, once the price of houses, of living condition escalate, then the price of everything else is going to go up. And this is what we're seeing. What I'm saying is already obvious. So you don't even need to question that, because it's right there, right in front of your eyes. So there's gonna be two people living in this world. The upper class, which is the billionaires, and everybody else is going to be poor, because within another 5 to 10 years from now, all the small businesses are going to be wiped out. And if the small businesses are wiped out, it's just rich, and very poor. So when we create the B5 community, these are the things that we see, and I'm thankful to God who has given me the knowledge and skills as a computer programmer to be able to see these things, to see what is coming to the world, and to get out from behind the console and to set up this community now that we call the B5 community, so that we can see, because if the world go into poverty, if you have a system where you're going to have billionaires and the rest of people poor, that is going to be some very serious implications about that. That means the whole world will become a third world country, third world nation, third world, global third worldism, where you have the rich ruling over the poor. You do never want to end up in a situation like that. So now this is why we are creating the B5 community, and the only way we can solve this problem is if we as a consumer start spending with each other, spending money with each other. So we created the GAS system, which is called the Guarantee Affirmative Support System. I talked about that more in depth in another video, but basically what that does, it is a system that allows you to support people like yourself, businesses and small people like yourself, and allow those people to support you. So what we do in the system as the programmers, we make that possible. So you don't have to worry about you coming into the system and you're not gonna get any support. You're gonna support people and they're not gonna support you back, because the B5 community is gonna make sure that this doesn't happen, that every man comes in here have support. Now, who is a business? What is a business? What is the definition of a business? Any business that is a business has to start somewhere. It starts with an idea. And what is going to make this business thrive and survive is the support that this business is going to get. So here is your idea that you have, that you're going to do this thing, and you get together and you do this thing. And now that you have done this thing, you have the B5 community, the rest of people in the community to support you. Because whenever time you spend money, you're going to be spending it within the B5 community, supporting these people. So what we have to do now, we have to withdraw support from corporate businesses that are too big to fail, businesses that we support, that we spend thousands of dollars with them and they never spend a dime with us, and start spending our money within our own community, amongst ourselves, so that the people that you're expecting for support from have the money to support your business, because you're supporting them with your money and they're supporting yours. That is the only way we can survive in the B5. That is the only way we can survive in the system, through a guarantee affirmative support system. This means that, based on my definition of a business first starts with an idea. If there is something that you know that you can do, if you have skills, Your skills needs to be constantly developing. You don't never want to be at the same place all the time. But whatever you do, it needs to be improved. Be improved. You need to be constantly improving your service because you have to be competitive. But while you improve your service, you can still benefit from what you can do. So whatever idea you have as a business, whatever it is that you like to do, you don't have to go anymore doing a job that you don't like because it pays the bill. You can do what you like and still get paid for it within the B5 community. And that is one of the beauty about this. So whatever your idea is, whatever it is that you want to do with your life, we know some of you out there are young people and have dreams, you have skills and you have talents. Keep on developing those skills and talent. But in the meantime, come inside the B5 community. Let us see what you can do. And let us see how we can support you. While you support us, we support you inside of the B5 community. There's no idea out there that is better than this. Because if we continue spending our money with businesses that does not support us in return, then that is going to we are going to be hemorrhaging all our blood, because your blood is your money in this sense. Hemorrhaging all our blood to the beast while they suck our blood and leave us dry and leave us empty. One thing you do never want to end up in. You do never want to end up in a global poverty, because that is a very bad situation to be in. I know you're not considering all the implications of how dangerous that is, but you imagine yourself as a human being, and if you have to take orders from some rich guy there who doesn't care about you, because the rich does not care about the poor. So they are the worst people to take orders from. Anything that they ask you to do is something that is not good for you, because they're not going to ask you to do something that benefits you, but whatever benefits them. This is a very dangerous situation to be. And you might not have to contemplate that in this video, but you think about that even as you leave, when you leave, as you sign up for the B5 community, toward the B5 community, when you sign up, think about this on a long-term basis and think about how dangerous that is. So that is the system that we're trying to get rid of. So we want to get out of this system where we're spending money to businesses and they are not supporting our businesses, and we want to support our businesses and each other businesses. You can build businesses in the B5 community. You can own businesses in the B5 community. You don't have to worry about working for somebody for 10 years or for 15 years or for your lifetime. And then when you get out of that job, you get out with just one paycheck, your last paycheck, and you walk away with nothing. So there is a company that you had helped to build because you worked within that company, and this company is now $1 million, billion-dollar company, and you walk away with nothing. That is an injustice that we intend to solve within the B5 community. So inside the B5 community, you will also get a chance to own or to be a part of the businesses that you support, so that when these businesses make a profit, you make a profit. So there is no poverty that is going to be in the system. No one is going to be in the B5 community and be poor. Because once you're active within the B5 community, doing what you do best and supporting everybody in the B5 community, that is all we ask you to do. We don't ask you to try to figure out difficult things or technical things. We just ask you to be in the community and to support the people that are inside the community so that you get support in return. Everything that you need, you're going to have. All the wealth is going to be interspersed between the members of the community. So as you stay longer inside of the B5 community, the funds that is inside the B5 community, the wealth that is within inside the community is shared among you. So you'll be able to use everything, use all the facilities, do anything that you want, and be secured. And not only you will be secured, but also your family will be secured. One of the things that we want to talk about here real quick, because I know this video might terminate in a few. One thing I want to talk about real quick in this video, I want to talk about manufacturing. So we start off talking about the subject of the real big subject. America had found itself in a very dangerous position where it loses the power of its GDP, or its gross domestic product. What is gross domestic product? Your gross domestic product is what you sell from your country, what you exported versus what you imported. If you're importing more than you're exporting, then your economy is going down. So what we want to start doing inside the B5 community, and we have already done a lot of research on that already, we're going to be manufacturing products. Everything that we need, everything that we use in our daily life, we're going to be making these things. So we're going to be having manufacturing plants. We're going to be having land spaces where all we do on these land spaces is manufacture. So there will be lands where there will be only factories on these lands, building things. Then around those lands, we're going to be fortifying those lands, around those lands, with houses, and giving these houses, selling these houses, of course, at reasonable prices to the people that is inside the B5 community and that work inside of these companies. So that is a part of the bigger scope of how the B5 community, will work. So anybody that is inside the B5 community will be benefited. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what profession you have. While you're inside of the B5 community, you will be supported. You will be guaranteed a job. You will be guaranteed housing, a place to live, because there's going to be a lot of homelessness. But this homelessness is only going to affect people who are not inside of the B5 community. There's going to be a lot of poverty, but this poverty is going to affect only people who are not inside of the B5 community. So we want you to take a look at the information that we have submitted. We know that it's a lot of reading, and this is why we make videos, so that we can explain some things to you so that you don't have to read all of that, everything that is here, because we already tell you this inside, the basic things and how it works. Now after you join, you can read like more information as to how our system is structured, how we're going to structure everything. Because as we talk about structure, one thing I want to recommend is that, let's say for instance we have a B5 company that make car parts, auto parts. You're manufacturing auto parts. We do not want to have 10 or 20 or 50 companies that making auto parts for 50 different companies. We want to have one company that is capable of making all the auto parts. So this is one industry, the auto parts industry, one thing that makes all the auto parts. So what would happen, and the way it would work, is that each segment of the company is focused on making each part of the car. So whether these parts, whether you're talking about tires, or you're talking about generators or alternator or starter or engine blocks or whatever part of the car that we're making, we have one company doing this. So if you have a mold set up to make alternators, you're going to have a mold for each alternator, for each vehicle, all the way down the line, because this is what you do. So whenever time we need mold, this is a segment excuse me this is a segment of the company that does that. So we have our auto parts industry that deals with auto parts. Then we have our assembly line that assembles auto parts. You know, in this case, when we're talking about making automobile, the same thing is it with housing. We have our housing material industry that is focused on creating housing material. Whether these housing material be out of wood, or out of concrete, or out of metal, or out of zinc. All the housing materials that you need is this industry. It is going to be concentrated on that. And then we can do what we call the cross utilization. Whereas you saw something, or you saw how something was done in this company, and you need that technology to do something in this company, you have cross utilization. So we have everything planned out as to what we're going to do and how we're going to do it.